So you're coloring your black and white image and you start to wonder, why do my colors look all over the place? Well, because every color has its own value or brightness. It is not the same tone throughout the whole palette. So if you feel that your color, for instance, this red, is too bright, you should lower its value and it's now properly red. So, as I started to create more and more album covers for fake songs, I thought, why not create something for a real song? Call Me Kevin sang this song recently, and I didn't draw him in a while, so I chose this frame to paint, and I created this mock-up so it is easier for me to visualize my idea. So, after 18 minutes, I drew this sketch just to get the vibe of the finished artwork. Also, I draw while holding my tablet on my lap. So I've been drawing for an hour now, and this is the result. And now I'll put my phone on my desk. And when I take it back up, my artwork will be finished after like 6 hours or something like that. So thanks for watching, and GG gamers. Today I'll show you how to quickly add depth with lens flares. So let's begin. So firstly, you have to create a circle with shape tool, remove its fill and make sure your stroke has a color. Then you can make it thicker or thinner. Now you'll have to rasterize your layer and turn it into a smart object so it is easier for you to transform it later. Create a hue and saturation adjustment layer and clip it to your circle layer. This will allow you to freely change its color. After all this, you can start changing your circle's perspective and adding some foreshortening so it creates an illusion of depth. You can fade your circle into the background by using masks and add some transparency to it by using hard light blending mode. You can play with this technique in many different ways and add your own twists so it looks more interesting to you personally. So when I started out drawing, I remember I always had an issue of where to put my reference photo that I draw from. Because sure, you can put it on a canvas, but when you zoom in and want to add some details, it gets lost and you don't see it anymore. Or it covers a part of your artwork and you don't see what's going on behind it. Of course, you can open it in your default photo viewer, but it can get covered very easily by your other active window, so the issue here still persists. But the solution is this app called PureRef. It is free with an option to donate to the developers, and you can stack as many pictures as you want. For example, here I have my inspirational corner, and here I have my reference photos that I will be using to paint my artwork. And the advantages of this program is that it always stays on top when you use your Photoshop app, for example. It never gets hidden, so it's very useful because you can rotate those photos, you can enlarge them. It has many functionalities, and I've been using it for a long time, so I definitely recommend it. Today I'll show you how to quickly draw an eyeball completely out of circles. So let's begin. Firstly, we will create a circle that represents an eyeball itself. The second circle is an iris, which has a stroke effect applied to it. Also, it is brown because I like darker colored eyes. And finally, our last circles are for the iris and a highlight, which indicates that our light source is coming from the top right corner, and this allows us to add some shadows. So because it is a ball, it has all the characteristics of a sphere, so that's why this core shadow is curved. And finally, the iris is shaded like this because actually it is a flat surface that is covered by this curved glass thing called cornea, so when the light is coming through it, it is hitting the opposite side of an iris, so that's why it is lit like this. So if it helped, please leave a like, and thanks for watching. So today I will try to explain how I create shapes in my artworks. So the basic idea behind everything in my art is this shape, which is also called golden ratio. I just personally really like how this looks. When you look at abstract art, you can notice that this type of idea is used quite often, and personally this looks more appealing to me than this. I mean, it is not wrong to use this, I just personally like how this looks. And now I'll try to show you how I apply this in my own art. So this is a recent sketch that I did for my artwork, and as you can see, I always draw like this. There is a longer line and there's a shorter one, and I just use this kind of technique everywhere. For example, here, there is this longer line, there's this shorter line. Longer line, shorter line. Shorter line, longer line. Shorter line, longer line. Shorter line, longer line. I mean, with this ratio, in my opinion, your compositions look more visually appealing because it kind of feels more natural. And I just feel that they look more dynamic. So there's that. There's the tutorial, and I hope you learned something. So thanks for watching. Today I'll show you how I choose my reference photos for my artworks. So let's begin. Step 1. I scroll through Instagram for quite some time. When I finally find something that I find visually appealing, I make a happy noise. And then I save this post so I don't lose it. So what I recently found out that I really like taking my reference pictures from videos, because in a photo everything is given to you, and in a video you actually have to take your own pictures, so the results can be varied depending on your own preferences. So when I finally find a video, I download it, and you can find a lot of different options by Googling online, but I personally use this site. It was the most reliable to me, so I recommend it. When my downloading process is complete, I import my video into my Premiere project because I get a lot more control when I'm choosing a frame, and when I am done selecting, I export it and then import it into my Photoshop project. I check my values if I like how the original reference looks. So in this case, it lacks the contrast because it is a lot easier to paint something with a higher contrast because the shapes that you're painting are a lot more visible. So I'll just adjust my values with levels, and after I'm done with it, I go into this app called Topaz AI Gigapixel, and I upscale my photo so I can see an even more detailed and higher res photo than it was before. Even though it can't add details to places where there aren't any, it is still a lot more distinguishable and clearer, and it really helps in a painting process. And why would you want to make your process harder if there are tools that can make it easier? And my final step is to upload my photo into a PureRef app that I covered before in my previous video, and that's it. So I hope it helped, and thanks for watching. Quick art hack. If you'll download this app called PureRef, you can measure proportions of your reference by dragging your photo to the side, and this line will help you place your features or objects that you're drawing. Or you can just take other pictures and just measure those proportions like you would do with a ruler. So I hope you found this helpful. Quick art hack. Sometimes when you want to color your shape quickly with a wand tool, when you click and make a selection, it goes all over the place. So when you want to fill it, it fills everything. And sometimes it is really hard to see those gaps and find them all, like Pokemons. So the fastest way to find those gaps is by using this method of clicking on the lines, and where the selection ends, it means that the line here ends, so there is a gap that you need to fill in. And when you do that with all the gaps, you can make a selection and color it without any problems. So I hope it helped.